Alrighty, sports fans, welcome again to another weekly edition of our Pioneer Sports Preview. Looking again at Prep Sports, here with Mr. Dane Pavlovsky. And today we're going to focus on the race in the CSA for boys basketball. Looking at this last week here, we still got a Lakeview team that's undefeated in league play. Big Rapids with 2 conference losses, Reed City with 1, Morley Stanwood with 2 conference losses. And you've got Morley Stanwood playing Lakeview on Friday, and you got Big Rapids facing off Reed City on Friday. So I think just looking at this here, what are we looking at here as far as trying to separate the picture as the season starts kicking here in high gear?
If you like high school basketball or sports or basketball or anything along those lines at all, Friday is going to be amazing for any sports fan. You have that Big Rapids Reed City matchup, that the rivalry everybody wants to see. It's going to be rocking, going to be a good game. Reed City, they've been struggling with injuries in the last few weeks, but against a tough Central Montcalm team, Kyle Wright went down. He came back to play in their last game, a big win over White Cloud, so he's doing a lot better. But it's going to be interesting to see. Thankfully for the Coyotes, they have a lot of guys who can help out, and even with a couple of their leaders out, they still have Chad Samuels dropping 27 points. Chris Barton has stepped up a lot, a young kid, had a double-double, 16 points, 13 rebounds their last game over White Cloud. So, they have some weapons. They can definitely make some noise. That Big Rapids game, obviously, is going to be a very telling sign as they play their first game against the Cardinals. And going to the Cardinals, Lakeview is real good. Obviously, they're undefeated, but you were at the game. That was a close one.
It was a tough game. That was a game, the Cardinals really got bit at the line there, couldn't convert, and that's something that cost them a very tight game. But like you said, the Lakeview team definitely nothing to sneeze at. So. And
a game where you lose that close, a 2-point loss to the best team in the conference in your home gym on free throws and layups. That's a different story. If you can get a couple shots to fall, Quinn Tyson only had 12 points. You're not going to see that a lot when you play Tyson. So it's going to be Cardinals. I think are going to have a very good chance, against Reed City and then against Lakeview later in the season. But it's going to be tough. And I say it every time we talk about boys basketball. You got to watch out for the Mohawks. Morley Stanwood. They were kind of near the bottom. They were trying to figure out how to play. They don't have a lot of size. It's a lot of younger guys. Tim Carenduff, obviously, the leader on that team on and off the court, had another 27-point night in their last game in their win over Newaygo, which I was at. Great basketball game. And Andrew Sackett is their big kid. He's not very stocky, but he's tall. And he's been getting going now. He's got a lot of rebounds. He's been helping out Carenduff. And they beat a very game Newaygo team.
Definitely.
And I think that makes Morley Stanwood pretty scary. And they'll take on Lakeview on Friday. That'll be another good one. And if Morley Stanwood wants to fight in the conference against these really good teams, Lakeview would be a great chance to make a statement.
Definitely. Like you said, a lot of good teams in the conference this year. Plenty of conference games left to go. We'll see how it shakes out, but should be an exciting finish here the rest of the season. All right, sports fans, I'm here with Mr. Bob Allen. We're going to talk a little FSU hockey. So, Bob, looking at this week, Bulldogs in the middle of a 6-game road trip here, traveling up to Michigan Tech, a team the weekend before last, they just took 2 hard-fought games against at home. And Bulldogs coming off a hard-fought 2 losses there, their first 2 losses in WCHA to Minnesota State last weekend in Mankato. So just kind of looking at this one, Bulldogs still sitting up in first in the WCHA, but now they only have a 2-point lead over Minnesota State with a bunch of conference games left to go. So what is it that they're going to have to do here in Michigan Tech? Obviously, a Tech team is going to be looking for revenge in their own home spot.
Obviously, Ferris needs 2 wins. I mean, that goes without saying. But I think maybe those 2 losses to Minnesota State can be beneficial here. I don't think anyone expected them to run the gambit. And so now they can come out, maybe refocus a little bit, and take it out on Michigan Tech. Go out, Tech struggling to score goals. They're very good defensively, but this might be a good weekend to kind of get back to the, reasons why they're winning, playing strong defense and getting good offense.
Definitely, talking to Coach Daniels here this week, he said, the penalty kill that he wasn't too happy with the last weekend, but he said the effort was there, especially Saturday night against the Mavericks there, in a game that the Bulldogs had a chance to pull out at the end. So I think definitely, he said they're not getting too high with the wins, or not getting too low with the losses. I think that's the kind of mindset they got to take here. Because, like you said, getting off to a 14-game unbeaten streak to start your first year in the WCHA, not a bad way to start the conference season.
And that team takes the personality of their coach, and that's very indicative of Coach Daniels. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, and you see it. It goes right through the whole team.
Yep.
They kind of ride. Every team kind of goes up and down, but they don't have those big mood swings, you would say.
Definitely.
And I think you'll see a very more focused team this weekend.
Definitely, like you said, it's the rigors of the season. They're going through their minor bumps and bruises just like any other team, but all things considered, they're pretty healthy and still sitting at the top of the WCHA. Alrighty, now Mr. Brandon Fountain joins me here. We're going to talk about one of our other favorite subjects here besides the Lions, the Detroit Red Wings. And actually, Wings are coming off a little decent streak here. Coming off a big victory, shootout victory actually, which has been pretty rare for them against the Chicago Blackhawks. And then they also had a nice little shootout victory over the Canes over the weekend. Although the Canes are not really saying they got the fair treatment on that one, but we'll take a win. So looking at what the Winds are doing now, obviously still dealing with a bunch of injuries, but what are you seeing from the club right now? It's got them a little bit mixed of youth coming in, making some plays.
Right now, they're in a really hard stretch playing some top tier teams, especially as they're trying to claw back into the playoff hunt. I mean, they are right now looking out, and right now it's all about chemistry, and they don't have a lot of it. But with guys returning here, with Helm coming back, and obviously he was a goal scorer there in the shootout. But once they get their rhythm, they should start moving like we all expect them to, at least somewhat.
Yep.
I mean, these are a different team. This is not the same Red Wings that we
not
grew
at all.
up watching.
Not at all. That's the thing, they're you rely on those old veterans they had for so long. Now they're pretty much shipping up half of the Grand Rapids Griffins to come fill their rosters. But now looking at their goalie situation, Howard out at least a week right now with a knee injury, maybe even longer. But Gustafson came in, played a pretty solid game for them against Chicago. So just looking at their netminder situation, do you think that Gustafson's the way to go here the rest of the season? Obviously, Howard, big money, big contract, but what do you think is the best direction for them right now?
I think right now it is Gustafson. He's got to be the answer. He was the answer before Howard came back and got injured again.
Yep.
Howard's been at least consistent in that manner, and that he's been
the
injured.
one thing he's been consistent
Yeah. You don't want him in a shootout. And Mrazek, I think he's getting the experience, and he needs the experience because sooner or later people are going to say, well, Jimmy Howard hasn't taken us to that next level.
Right.
And this is the Red Wings. This is Hockey Town. He's got to take us past the second round, or else he's gone. It happened to Osgood, even though with the Stanley Cup, Osgood did have that in his resume. But still, Howard's got to have to lead. He's going to have to lead.
Like you said, team like Detroit, the history, the traditions there, with all the playoff appearances they've made in consecutive years, it's pretty much playoffs or bust. And I think this year might be one of those years where Red Wing fans kind of look and see, hey, this is a team that's kind of building itself back up. But right now, like I said, they're kind of in the playoff picture. Got to make some work through a tough schedule, but we'll see what they can do here as we move forward. Alrighty, folks, thanks for tuning in for another weekly edition of our sports preview. Remember, you can catch up on all your local sports news by logging on to BigRapidsNews.com or picking up an edition of the Pioneer every day.